Hi, everybody. Dr. D. Liberty here from College of DuPage. I teach humanities at CUD, and I've been wondering how people see humanities as related to the pandemic. And I had some thoughts I wanted to share. First, people keep reminding us that the arts are what are getting us through this pandemic. Literature, film, music that we're turning to keep us less distracted by what is or isn't going on around us. But I was more reminded of the connection of humanities to other things when Kay Quizzen, who works in medical microbiology and infectious diseases, posted on her social media. And she said, I didn't get why we were required humanities in undergrad. I was a science student. And she put an exclamation point. But now, when the world's attention is on a virus, a topic I've spent my whole adult life studying, what I think about most are social structures, inequality, and sacrifice. I think about people. So I think all disciplines have ways of knowing and ways of teaching. And I think humanities are a broad way to enter into any problem and discussion, and the humanities have a wide variety of tools, and then because the humanities tell us about people. And I think you'll see down here I've said the humanities, I feel, can take us from insanity to humanity. It's the people, and these tools will help us unlock people and their beliefs. And I think from insanity to humanities, I think that, again, the humanities are going to give us the way to process stories and process information about the pandemic and allow us to connect to our past and maybe set a path for the future. So I think all disciplines have ways of knowing and ways of analyzing. And I believe if we teach you how to analyze a painting in a humanities class, that teaching you how to break down those elements allow you to apply that same analytical ability to other issues. But I also want to say that humanities is a field that brings together all kinds of perspectives. So I think history parts predominantly from a historical lens, and I think music uses obviously music, and I think humanities tries and draws these all together. So, for example, I'm was working with this biography of Nina Simone, and Nina Simone was a classically trained pianist. This book brings together the genre of autobiography, although she had help writing it, autobiography and classical music, and then how her training turns into sort of jazz. And so she talks a lot about music in here, but she also talks about racism that she endured, and that again goes back to social structures, and it's historical. This book, called The History of the World in Six Classes, that I'm teaching, um, uh, draws together history and then takes something that we use every day, which are our beverages, and talks about how the beverages, may have shaped world uh, conditions, and the conditions that certain segments of populations were forced to live in. This book is called Anatomies, and it is a book about the cultural history of the human body. So there is science in here about the human body and what the human body does, but the book predominantly talks about the cultural history of the human body and why we associate the heart with emotions when in fact we used to think that that was where the brain was resided, or what had the functions of the brain. So interesting topics like that: science, biology, cultural history. This is a book called The Woman Who Smashed Codes, and it's a biography, and it talks about math, and it talks about code breaking. It talks about the history of the FBI and the CIA, and it also talks again about women. And this woman was one of the first code breakers in the United States, one of two, and she founds the field, writes books on the field, is profoundly neglected, which gets at issues about women and women's worth historically and now, but also brings together cryptography and again, history. This is a book called No Exit. It's another book that I'm teaching, and it takes the art of theater and uses it to bring philosophy to people to be able to understand philosophical concepts. So this book too is brings together a set of tools, theater allowing you to sort of live in real time and process ideas as the characters go through them. So I do want to say that we are moving towards an interdependence. Even the scientists are realizing this. But I think the more we learn about the humanities, the more we learn about people, the better we're going to be able to withstand the insanities and the inanity of what this pandemic feels like. and we're going to